Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday Dharma service. And a special welcome to those of you probably mainly out in Zoom. If this is your first time, special welcome to you. So we'll begin our service with the ringing of the kansho, followed by the chanting of Ju-Seige. You can either follow along on the screen if you're here in person, or it's in the service book, page 93. Okay, thank you.
市常文の妙所長実法空教未書も聖苦上小学二億辞書ね上映修凡行しぐむ浄土一生天にし人力縁内語不詳無才道少女三苦名交際集約な回避知恵言滅死根もあ閉塞小悪道通達伝修も高僧上万道いよろ実法日月修十期天候音符言一種解放道公正苦毒法上大集中説法ししく供養一切部具足修徳本元年出上満徳意三愛用如仏無下知通達未不詳願学営利投資最小尊志願若国家内戦を感動国書店に東内妙見大心
We will now have the reading of Three Treasures, followed by Sankyemon.
Please join me, hands together, as we read together Three Treasures. Hard is it to receive a human form. Now we have received it. Difficult is it to hear the Buddha Dharma. Now we hear it. If we do not receive awakening in this life, in what life shall we do so? Let us reverently take refuge together in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. Together with all beings, may we attain the great way of enlightenment, awakening to the supreme intent of the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. Together with all beings, may we enter the storehouse of Dharma, acquiring wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. Together with all beings, may we become united at the great assembly, being free of all bondage. Hard is it to encounter the supreme, profound, and wondrous Dharma, even in 100,000 million kalpa. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true intent of the Tathagata. Namandal, 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 Namandal. Please join me again in Gassha, hands together, as I read a passage written by Venerable Shinran. The word here, oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to read Sankyemon. Gomen nasai. Sankyemon. Ninjin ukegatashi, imasude ni uku. Buppo kikigatashi, imasude ni kiku. Konomi konjo ni mukatte dosezun wa, sarani izure no shou ni mukatte ka konomi o dosen. Daishu moro tomo ni shishin ni sanbo ni kieshi tate matsuru beshi. Mizu kara butsu ni kieshi tate matsuru. Masa ni negawaku wa shujou to tomo ni daido o taige shite mujoi o okosan. Mizu kara hou ni kieshi tate matsuru. まさに願わくは衆生と共に深く共造に入りて知恵海のごとくならん。自らそうに消えし立て祭る。まさに願わくは衆生と共に大衆を通りして一切無限ならん。無常人人未明の方は百千万語にもあようことがたし、我今検問し従事することを得たり、願わくは如来の真実義を下し立て祭らん。ナマンダウツ、ナマンダウ、ナマンダウ、ナマンダウツ。I'm sorry, everybody. I'm out of practice. Please join me again. I invite you to join me again as I now read words written by Venerable Shindan. The word here in the passage from the larger sutra means that the multitudes of beings hear why and how the Buddha's vow was established and fulfilled, and do not have any suspicion towards the vow. This is what the word here means. Namandao, namandao, namandao. Well, good morning, everybody. So happy to see you all here, back after our month and a half long break from our regular services. So thank you, everybody, for coming back to listen to the Dharma with us. And if anybody's on Zoom and joining us for the first time, thank you so much for coming to the temple, West LA Temple, to listen to the Dharma with us today. I'm sorry for the mistake that I made about forgetting to recite Sankyamon. Sorry, Connie. Thank you. So we're here today, whether we are seasoned travelers on the Dharma path, or as somebody may be embarking on a new journey, right? We are all here today to listen to the Dharma, right? That's what we say. We come to the temple to listen to the Dharma. And in our Jodo Shinshu tradition, right, especially, we often say that one of our most important practices is to listen to the Buddha Dharma. But I would like us to reflect today on what that means. What does it mean to, listen to the Buddha Dharma? I think maybe some of us might think that this is kind of an abstract and vague statement, right? Buddha Dharma can cover a lot of teachings, a lot of concepts. So, are we expected to be able to listen to all of them and learn all of them? Right? How can we know what we are supposed to focus on and listen for? In addition, I hope we can today reflect on why we are told to listen to the Buddha Dharma. What are we supposed to get out of it? Right? And some of us, in our more modern times, we ask, how does this apply to our lives? Right? I think this is what many of us are interested in knowing when we come to temple. So the passage that I've just shared was written by our tradition's founder, Venerable Shindan, and it can be found in his major text, the Kyogyo Shomonrui, or also known as Kyogyo Shinsho. And in this passage, Venerable Shindan is clarifying what it means to hear or to listen in this Pure Land teaching. And Venerable Shindan is telling us that what we should all be listening to is why and how Amida Buddha established and completed its fundamental promise to rescue and guide all beings out of the world of hardship and suffering. So have you ever been with someone and they say something like, do you hear that? Or do you see that? And at first we're like, what are you even talking about? I don't know what you want me to pay attention to, right? But then they describe it, and then you kind of know what to focus on, and then you say, oh, okay, I think I know. Yes, I hear it. Or you'll say, no, I don't hear it, right? But in the same way, I think that's what Venerable Shindan is trying to clarify for us is, what is the most important thing that we should be paying attention to, right? What are we trying to focus on? And so I think that is what he just said, what we should always be listening for, is the lesson of why and how Amida Buddha established and fulfilled this most important promise or vow to constantly guide and rescue all beings out of this world of hardship and suffering. So, of course, I think this still might be a little bit abstract. So, first, I would like to address the question, right? Why did Amida Buddha make this promise to save all beings from this realm of suffering and hardship? Shakyamuni Buddha taught that from the beginningless beginning, we have all been afflicted by deep ignorance of things as they are, right? And the three poisons of me-focused attachments, me-focused aversions, and folly, foolish actions in body, speech, and thought. The ignorance and three poisons in us as individuals and as collective groups in society is what is causing hardship and harm for ourselves and others, right? We can also recognize this in the first and second noble truths. So it is out of deep sadness of seeing that what we are doing to ourselves and seeing the cycle that we are trapped in, that Buddha vowed to dedicate itself to guide us and pull us out of this situation through sharing wisdom and compassion with us. So why is this important, right? So as one example in my life, I don't like to be told anything bad or negative about myself. Are you the same way? Even though I say that I'm open to constructive criticism, sometimes I am, depending on the context and who's giving it to me. But sometimes, depending on my mood or the context, it still sometimes stings to hear it, right? And so when I hear someone judging me or criticizing me, instead of taking their advice to heart, the chances are high that I will be annoyed and possibly angry at that person. Who are you to judge me? But, this will, make me be in a foul mood. And then when I get home, this foul mood might still be with me and affect my behavior at home, putting Marie or my family or, other people that I interact with in a foul mood, leading to unnecessary arguments. And around we go of making myself in a foul mood, affecting others, putting them in a foul mood. They might put others in a foul mood, right? This is the cycle. This is a cycle that we go through. And over maybe nothing big, right? Just everyday life. So has this ever happened to you or something like this? So when I truly reflect on it, the very fact that I don't want to hear that I have room for improvement and get angry at someone who might be trying to help me, right? And carelessly passing on my anger, my annoyance, my foul mood, is itself proof that I am afflicted with ignorance and three poisons, causing hardship for myself and others around me. Buddha can see this. So out of deep care and concern for my well-being and the well-being of others around me, Buddha is always working to help me adjust the way that I see myself, the way that I see life, and how I relate to and navigate through life. So how does Buddha do this? And this is where we get to the how of Buddha fulfilling the vow. The sutra teaches us that Amida Buddha started out as a monarch named Dharmakara, who saw that many people were also suffering from hardships in their life. After meeting a Buddha named Lokeshvara, Dharmakara recognized the profundity of Dharma wisdom and compassion. Out of a deep wish to help all people with this Dharma, Dharmakara decided to follow this Buddha Lokeshvara and walk the Buddhist path in order to become a Buddha himself, so that he too could save everyone from their hardships through fully sharing wisdom and compassion of the Dharma. Dharmakara vowed to not just become any old Buddha that just is only in this one world helping a small community of people, but an unsurpassed Buddha whose teaching and influence will be limitless and endless in time and space, whose Dharma knowledge and experience would be a culmination of all the Buddhas. Dharmakara vowed that all the other Buddhas would praise Dharmakara as an immeasurable, unsurpassed Buddha. Dharmakara also vowed to create a realm that is pure of any ignorance, of any three poisons, and that in that realm there would be no hardships, no suffering, and anybody, all beings, can become a Buddha themselves. Now, living on this path as a bodhisattva, Dharmakara dedicated his whole life and future lives to practicing and perfecting Dharma wisdom and compassion through visiting and learning from all the Buddhas who have ever existed. So, life after life, Dharmakara took every different possible form of life and lived many different types of lives in order to experience all different types of hardships and sufferings, imaginable or maybe unimaginable. The Bodhisattva also visited and learned from all the Buddhas of the 10 directions. After aeons of suffering, aeons of Dharma practice, Dharmakara fulfilled its vow of becoming this immeasurable Buddha, Amida Buddha, who is praised by all the other Buddhas and whose wisdom and compassion can be heard by anyone, anywhere, at any time. Amida Buddha and the realm that it resides in are completely free of any hardships or sufferings because they are completely free of even one drop of ignorance and one drop of three poisons. Because of this true Buddha and land are completely pure Dharma wisdom and compassion, seeing all beings equally with true value, not harboring any ill feelings towards anyone or anything, purely wishing for all beings to awaken to this wisdom and compassion. The Buddha and land are the embodiments of perfect Dharma. Again, so this is the story of Dharmakara, how Dharmakara became perfect enlightenment, perfect wisdom and compassion. But again, this story may sound abstract to you, and we might be asking, well, still, what does this have to do with my daily life? When we listen to the teaching about why Amida Buddha's vow came about, we have an opportunity to truly contemplate and reflect on who I am. If I'm truly honest with myself, what kind of person am I? What hardships and harm am I capable of creating for myself and others in my everyday life? I am being urged to deeply reflect on my attitude and behavior that is based in my ignorance and three poisons, in body, speech, and thought, and how this can affect myself and affect others at every moment of my everyday life. At the same time, when we listen to the teaching about how Amida Buddha fulfilled this vow and became Amida Buddha, we have an opportunity to truly contemplate and reflect on what kind of being Amida Buddha is. As this embodiment of pure wisdom and compassion, Amida Buddha becomes a mirror with which we can and should use to reflect on ourselves at any moment of our lives. In other words, I think that the Dharma that we are being urged to listen to are the questions: what does it mean for me to have ignorance and 3 poisons, and for Buddha to be pure of them? How does Amida Buddha see me and life in general and the world compared to the way I see myself, life in general and the world? Relating this back to my example, I can ask myself, does Amida Buddha have improvement for life, to have room for improvement? Or is it me that has room for improvement? Is it Amida Buddha getting upset with others that they disagree with? Or am I the one getting upset with people that I disagree with? Is Amida Buddha passing on anger and foul moods to others like I am? Right? Or is it just me? So the answer is obviously Amida Buddha is not doing these things, and I am the one doing these things. So this is a reminder to me that I am an ordinary being who can benefit immensely from Amida Buddha's guidance at every moment of my life. I think this is the way for us to understand what it means to listen to why and how Amida Buddha established and completed this fundamental promise to become an unsurpassed Buddha in order to rescue and guide all beings out of this world of suffering and hardship. When we sincerely, honestly answer these questions for ourselves, inside ourselves, then I truly think that naturally, slowly, as the more we listen, our view of ourselves changes. The view of life changes. The view of how we relate to the world. This will all fundamentally change. And so through this transformation, our everyday lives will also change. Maybe we will not be so quick to get mad at the other person. Maybe we will have that kind of moment in our lives. Maybe we will be able to, pause and say, oops, sorry, maybe I shouldn't bring my foul mood home and calm down before I go home. These are just examples, right? So thus, I think it is important that we do not consider this Dharma as a teaching or a practice that we try to actively apply in our everyday lives, but allow it to be a teaching and practice that interacts with us in our heart and mind every day. Before I close this message, as I mentioned, if you're like me, I think none of us wants to hear criticisms and judgments about ourselves, right? Because of this, I think it is equally important that we remember that we are being urged by Amida Buddha to reflect on these questions, not out of Buddha's having a heart of superiority or trying to make us feel guilty about ourselves or judging us or berating us, punishing us, anything like that. Rather, we should know that we are being urged to do this out of a deep care, empathy, compassion for the suffering and well-being of each and every one of us. This is the heart and essence of the vow that Buddha can see, even though we can't see, even though I can't see. Buddha can see how our behavior is affecting myself and others. So Buddha is saying, please become aware of your behavior. Please know who you are. And so there is no one who is excluded from this heart and wish of Amida Buddha. And so Amida Buddha is reaching out to each and every one of us equally. In addition, I think it is very important for us to know that this vow, this promise, already guarantees us the safety net that just by walking on this path, we will attain Buddhahood in the Pure Land of Amida Buddha. And so there is no such thing as failing or falling off this Dharma path. This is the inconceivable wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha and the Pure Realm. We are only being urged to sincerely listen to this heart of Buddha's vow, sincerely reflect on it, and live as we are, where we are, when we are. So as we come to the temple, as we continue to come to the temple to, listen to the Dharma, I hope that we can all remember that for those of us on this Jodo Shinshu path, to listen to the Dharma means to hear the heart behind Namo Amida Butsu that is constantly engaging with us in our lives as we are. We do not need to change ourselves or try to prove ourselves to Buddha or anyone else in order to receive Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion and unfailingly attain Buddhahood. We only need to do our best in sincerely reflecting and contemplating on why and how Amida Buddha established and fulfilled its fundamental vow that is for the benefit of each and every one of us. So let us continue to listen to the Buddha's heart and mind, sincerely reflect on it, and live our lives to the best of our ability out of deep appreciation and indebtedness to Amida Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, the Pure Land Masters, Venerable Shinran, and all those who have protected and shared Jodo Shinshu throughout history and time and space so that we may encounter it today. Thank you very much for listening to my message today and listening to the Nembutsu teaching with me today. I would now like to close by reading a letter written by Master Renyo. Attaining the entrusting heart lies in understanding the 18th vow. To understand this vow means to understand what Namo Amida Butsu is. And so, when one takes refuge, that is, Namo in Amida in one thought moment, making aspiration and directing virtue is implied. This means that Amida Tathagata directs virtues to us, foolish beings. This is taught in the larger sutra as bringing all sentient beings to the attainment of virtues. So it follows that all the karmic evil and blind passions which we have given rise to since the beginningless past are completely extinguished by the inconceivable vow power. Hence, we dwell in the stage of non-retrogression, or the stage of the truly settled. This is the meaning of the statement, we attain nirvana without severing blind passions. This we should carefully bear in mind, humbly and respectfully. 新人役得すというは大衆八の願の心るなり。この願の心るというは南無阿弥陀仏の姿を心るなり。このゆえに名もと奇妙する一年のところに本願猫の心あるべし。これすなわち皆如来の凡部にこうしまします心なり。 これ音大教には了承春上訓読成就ととけりされば虫以来作りと作る悪言煩悩残るところもなく眼力不思議をもって消滅する言われあるがゆえに少女十体の位に術となりこれによって煩悩を断絶して涅槃のうと言えるはこの心なりこの義は当流一途の初段なるものなり他流の人に対して核のごとく沙汰あるべからざるところなりよくよく心べきものなりあなかしこあなかしこNamandap, namandap, 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 namandap.
Thank you so much for your Dharma message this morning, Reverend Umezu. Now we will have the reading of Ryogemon.
Please join me in hands together as we read together Ryogemon, Words of Understanding by Master Renyo. We rely upon Amida Buddha with our whole heart for the enlightenment in the life to come, abstaining from all sundry practices and teachings, and giving up the trust in our imperfect view. There is no doubt that the assurance of enlightenment comes at the very moment we entrust and we recite the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, in joy and gratitude for the Buddha's compassion. We also acknowledge gratefully the benign benevolence of our founder and succeeding masters who have led us to live in this profound teaching, and we do now endeavor to follow throughout our lives the way laid down for us. Ryoge Shutsugon. Moro moro no zogyo zashu jiriki no kokoro o furistete. Isshin ni amida nyorai. Warera ga kondo no ichidaiji no gosho. On tasuke sorae to tanomi moshite soro. Tanomu ichine no toki, ojo ichijo on tasuke jijo tozonji. Kono ue no shomyo wa goon hosha tozonji, yorokobi moshisoro. Kono on kotowari chomon moshiwake soro koto, go kaisan shonin go shusei no go on. Shidai sojo no zenjishiki no asakara zaru go kanke no go on to arigataku zonji soro. Kono ue wa sadame okaseraruru on okite ichigo kagiri mamori mosubeku soro. Namandap, 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 namandap.
So now before I go into announcements, I do want to remind everyone that after service, we will be having our Dharma reflection session led by Reverend Umezu. Okay, announcements. I've got quite a few today. So the first one, on October the 8th, we will have Our Lady Eshini and Lady Kakushini Memorial Service starting at 10 o'clock. Our guest speaker is Reverend Ryoko Osa, who is the resident minister of the Berkeley Higashi Honganji. Next is our 2023 Southern District Buddhist Conference. This is going to be held at the Pasadena Buddhist Temple on Sunday, October the 14th from 9 to 12. Key speakers will be Reverend Kenji Akahoshi, along with his wife Karen Akahoshi, Reverend Nobuo Miyaji, and then there's a Dharmathon with Reverend Dr. Mutsumi Wandra from OCBC, Reverend Koho Takata from West LA, and Reverend Hibiki Murakami from the LA Honganji Betsuin. So the registration is $25 online, $30 in person, and they're offering a $14 bento. So if you are interested in joining the conference, please submit your payment to West LA, made out to West LA, and we will submit one form. Okay. Next, we are starting a new program for the kids. It's our monthly Dharma School. It's going to start on October the 1st at 10 o'clock on Sundays. And if you are interested, please bring your child, your grandchild, anyone that would be interested in coming. Now we have several classes. First one is, what is the Jodo Shinshu teaching? This will be via Zoom on Wednesdays from 7 to 8, starting on September the 27th. This will be led by Reverend Takata, and the suggested registration fee is $50. And if you can't make the Wednesday, we have a Saturday class as well from 11 to 12, starting the 23rd. And this is also led by Reverend Takata. Reverend Umezu will be having her Buddhism Beyond Mindfulness discussions. This is on Saturday, in person only. So there's a monthly Shoshinge chanting service, which is in person only, and then the Buddhism Beyond Mindfulness is a hybrid, in person and Zoom. And this is starting on September the 30th. Chanting's at 10, and the gathering is at 11. Okay. This is new for us as well. We have Sunday matinees, so it's Dharma and a movie, starting on October the 22nd. So as soon as the Dharma service is over, we will have a movie. And I'm not sure what she's planning, but it'll be a surprise. Now, every third Friday of the month, we have Bingo at the Temple starting at 7 o'clock, and this is held at the Kaikon. We always have some really good snacks, some desserts, free parking, and tea, so please come and join us for that. Now, we've replenished our supply of t-shirts, and for those of you here, let me just show you what it looks like. This is our t-shirt, okay? And we have two styles. We have a V-neck for women, a crew neck for men, and sizes ranging from small to XXL. They're $20 each, and if you're interested, please contact us at the temple. And finally, on November the 4th, we have our Winapalooza, and this will be our 6th event since we've started. This will be Saturday from 7 to 9. It'll be here at our temple in the Kaikon. And this year, we have Abasonics. If you don't know who they are the premier band over at Nishi. They play 60s and 70s music. We will have catering by Cherry Stones, and we will have more details to follow with the official flyer. So it's a very fun event, limited spacing, so please be sure if you are a wine drinker to register as soon as possible. So with that, that concludes our service for today. If you haven't had a chance to Oshoko, please do so at the end. And just give us about 5 minutes to set up for a Dharma reflection session. So again, I'm sorry? Oh, okay, it'll be in the meeting room, I'm sorry. So with that, that concludes our service. And thank you all for being here. Sensei? Namanda.